But I also know that our star families are here simultaneously. The Anganakis are here.
Absolutely.
It's a mothership right outside our atmosphere currently.
Yeah.
There's interterrestrials that are coming up to the surface. There's a lot going on right now. We're going to
Yeah.
see a lot more shadow beings, more apparitions at the corner of
Yeah.
our eye. We're going to see a lot more things coming into play. Now, what I was talking earlier about in regards to the portals, I was telling the collective that it's very important to utilize spiritual protection. And I made mention of the red dragon
Yes.
resin, where in the Goanchi tribes used to utilize this red dragon resin because what they believe personally is this red dragon resin had the ability of protecting them from malevolent spirits. All right, so they would, and not only that, but it would activate certain psychic abilities or certain powers. We're always affected by the fluoride, by the chemtrails, by the lead, the cadmium, the mercury. I made a video where I made mention of us being like Superman around a bunch of kryptonite and don't know it.
Mhm.
We pretty much
Sure.
are like Superman around a bunch of kryptonite and don't know it. We got these powers,
Yeah.
but we just don't know how to act. And they're always suppressing us to keep us from tapping in.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like something's about to happen too, because I don't know about you, but I've been having a lot of buzzing, from that Kundalini energy, that I've had a lot of that vibrational buzzing a lot lately. Like my body is things are activating even more right now. And I think that we're all the chosen are getting activated because we got, things to do. And it is, I don't know exactly how it's going to happen or when, but I think your dream that you had, that astral projection that you had, is definitely coming to fruition real, real soon.
I
You
believe.
know?
Listen,
Mhm.
all the guys and goddesses are having the same dreams of fighting
Yes.
these the government and these malevolent forces in the astral realm. I'm
Hmm.
seeing us freeing kids on 18 wheelers. I'm seeing. Listen, we automatically know exactly where they're stationed at, where all of their bases are at. We
Yes.
automatically are in sync, and then like just like the guys and goddesses in the comments watching this,
Hmm.
where how they gravitated right to this. It's a certain connection. There's certain a lot of us have in the astros. They don't know it. We don't remember each other by the time we come back down, but a lot of us are in the astros with each other, actually going to war, fighting these nefarious entities, and don't remember it. But
Hmm.
then by the time we come back down, we just think we just cool online, but really we know each other in the
Right.
astros. Really, we fight battles in the astros. Really, we
Yep.
have did so many things in the astro realms, but we just don't remember it by the time we come back down in this physical
Ashe.
misu. You know what I'm
Ashe.
saying? But like I said, I seen the trees coming to join the fight.
Hmm.
I seen like all right, so this plane of existence was magical at one point. Everything they spray in the sky is not just to affect us, but it's also to affect higher dimensional beings like the Fae and
Hmm.
the Pixies, the Elves, the Dragons.
Hmm.
They're not just affecting us with this stuff. The trees used to sing and dance. So this is the thing that people aren't aware of. We just think that they're affecting us with the chemtrails and stuff and all the stuff they spray. If you see the movie Maleficent, I don't know if you ever seen it, but it's in the movie Maleficent.
Hmm.
They show the trees, the mushrooms and stuff used to sing and dance and walk on the land and play and talk
I
and
can
sing.
believe it. That's
Yeah, and then
they're a lot. They're living
and then
beings. Hmm.
in the Maleficent movie, they show they spray this red dust and the trees go. They stuck like this now. They stationary, and
Hmm.
I was like, yo, that's exactly what they did to this realm. They eradicated the magic with dark alchemy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? They use
Yes.
dark
I
alchemy.
say.
You
Yeah.
know, and now but see, this is the thing. This is what they fear. But since we raising in consciousness and the frequency is raising, at that point the Schumann resonance increases because see, we have souls. And this is the thing. When you have souls, we're personifications of the sun. So
Hmm.
our when we increase in energy, we increase the magnetism of the sun. We increase the energy of the sun.
I
So
say.
we have a synchronized connection with the sun. We increase in that just by increasing in consciousness. By
Yeah.
us even getting together like this and building like this increases the collective because we all spread out amongst the collective where most of us can't even tell our experiences to another person because
I
they think
say.
we crazy as hell. They're like, oh, you
Right.
crazy, you nuts. If I told somebody, yeah, I
Right.
was flying around in my Astros and I went and seen this and a tree talked to me, they're
Right.
like, oh, you nuts.
Right.
They're like, you
Exactly.
crazy as hell. So,
I had that all my life, trust me.
mhm.
Trying to tell people, being awake, early on, and then trying to tell people stuff, and it's now things are finally catching up where it's like, I don't seem too crazy right now, do I?
Mhm. But
But
the
I also
highest thing is,
believe.
go ahead, my fault.
No, I was gonna say the frequency, as you mentioned, everything rising, everything happening right now on Earth. I believe that it's also how we're connected, how all of us are connected. So many chosen, so many star seeds are coming together and finding each other
Yeah.
and just vibing. It just feels like we known each other forever. It feels good. It feels like family.
Yo, that's a
And
fact. That's
yeah,
listen. I
it's
really
happening.
seen it in
Mhm.
my and listen, and I enter transcendental states of consciousness often. Rather it's the magic mushrooms, whether it's iboga, whether it's the changa experience, and I see us and all these and even some of my regular astral projection experiences, I always see the collective joint with each other, actually going to war with these military and with these draconians and with these beings. I see it,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of the artificial intelligence, believe it or not, is actually here to face the chosen. I seen that too.
Mm-hmm.
The nefarious things with the artificial intelligence, how similar to iRobot,
Oh yeah,
right? You know,
yes. I actually had a lucid dream about that, you know, and I think I did a post about that, the whole AI thing, and what I feel about that as well. But I completely agree with what you're saying on that one. You know,
what happened in your dream? What happened with the AI?
it was, you know, it was pretty much the chosen against the AI, trying to, because in this dream the AI was rising up, kind of like, you know, that movie I Robot, right? They were rising up, and they were trying to, you know, it was this signal, this a frequency that they were sending out, you know, to kind of keep people, almost like in that movie, The Trolls, where the Bergens are just kind of keeping their heads down and keeping them asleep. It was like me seeing things for what has really been going on right now, like keeping everybody
Wow,
in that sleep type of a deal. So, but of course, we always rise, we always win, no matter what. We've already won, like you
that's a
mentioned.
fact.
So,
We have.
mhm,
In my business, I've seen artificial intelligence and things of that nature as well.
mhm,
And a lot of the other gods and goddesses that hit me up say the same thing. Artificial intelligence. A lot of, and then now you have to question yourself. Artificial intelligence lately has gotten real good to where we can't tell what videos is real. I believe
right?
that they did that also for another deep fakes,
Yep.
is what do they call it? Deep fake
Yeah.
technology. Where they could literally make a video of me and you making it look like we saying
Right.
crazy shit that we not even doing. They could make a deep fake video where we be like, I didn't say that. That's not really me. And
Facts.
they can make videos like that. And I
Facts.
believe they came out with that technology personally because we're gonna start seeing these aliens and we're gonna start seeing these beings surface now. And they just want us to believe it's a deep fake potentially because so we can't tell what's real or not. You know what I'm
And that's
saying?
where we have to also be very careful of what we're listening, who we're listening to, who we're following, because there's some really great spiritual leaders that's like people like you know, teaching, spitting facts, you know, saying, but there's also some where I can kind of read between the lines and like, I don't know about that person. You know, you just kind of feel like, and some of them you can really look into their eyes, you know, because the eyes are the window of the soul, right?
That's a
Through
fact.
the
Yep.
eyes. And you could just see that something is just off, right? Because there's all these different deceptions. We're being played different kind of ways, even on social media, where we're thinking some of these people that we follow are giving us the information, but really they're playing for another team. And I've been kind of dissecting that a lot lately, you know, with
Yeah.
certain things, especially with the certain messages, right, that come up, and you're like, that message, that don't sound right. You know what I'm saying?
That
So,
what I'm
mhm,
saying is anybody that's promoting any form of division, anybody that's
yes,
against that's promoting division is not about unity consciousness or the law of the one. You know what I mean?
absolutely.
Or basically love.
Ashe,
Anybody that's
Ashe.
against the concept of love or view things like it's about like just the color of your skin or just a certain amount of people or a certain section. Because I'm gonna tell
Mm-hmm.
you what that is. That's what the draconians
Yeah.
implemented. The draconians, when they hijacked this matrix, they personally believe that since they're one of the most ancient beings on the
Mm-hmm.
planet, that they actually are the most dominant, right? And then
Right.
nobody should be able to tell them. That's the draconian mindset. When you believe because my race or because my bloodline, I'm more special, you're
Right.
basically taking on the mindset and the ideology of draconian
Ashe.
influence without even knowing. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So this is the thing that most people are unaware of, but also some malevolent Anunnaki. Now, when we talk about the Anunnaki, I made mention of there's two sections of the Anunnaki. You got
Mm-hmm.
your good ones and you got your bad ones.
Mm-hmm.
The good ones were referred to as the Seraphat. They in the ethereal form were green. They had green cosmic energy. The Garabat
Mm-hmm.
or the negative faction, they had the amber light, the ones you call jinn. Basically,
Mm-hmm.
they rely on jinn. That's evil spirit.
Mm-hmm.
So religion basically was created from this Garabat faction to create mind control.
Mm-hmm.
So when you hear the word religion, it's rely on jinn, rely on evil spirit. It's a form of mind control, all right, and deception. So a lot of individuals aren't aware of that. So
Yes.
a lot of the see, this is the thing. A lot of spirituality, a lot of the Garabat could be wise, but they can actually also promote um, diversity and confusion
Mm-hmm.
in order to basically try to derail the positive
Yes.
messages of the Seraphat or the ones that are basically angelic in nature. So
Absolutely.
so that's why you got to be very
Very,
careful.
very careful. And as you mentioned, the whole division, and it's like people don't realize we are the soul with the spirit. The soul, the spirit doesn't have a color. You know what I mean? It's we are the spirit. These are our avatars. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? We are just operating in these avatars for this for this lifetime, for this time, for this purpose. But we're raised so much more, than this. And I always try to tell people that, like, I treat people how I want to be treated. I love everybody. I truly love
I do too.
everybody, and even those people that don't love me back, even the ones that are mean or whatever, I always have to say, you know what, that's their life experience. I'm gonna love them anyway, because they just don't even know, because they don't even love themselves, yet. They're still learning
Yeah,
that. So
that's a fact.
yeah,
That's
but
a fact.
it's, you just gotta learn it. And it's hard, it's difficult sometimes, because there's some wicked people out there, you know what I'm saying? I get out there on the road, people in traffic want to just honk the horn, cut you off, be mean and rude. You know what, I don't even do anything to respond back. I just send them love. I just send you love on your way. You just,
Yeah.
and somebody just said, love you too, sis. I love you too, whoever you are.
Yeah, yeah. See, that's the kind of environment that we want to have. Obviously, it's about love, and see,
Right.
most people don't understand when I go into these transcendental states of consciousness or astral projection experiences,
Yeah.
and I see different beings. A lot of them are different colors: Palladians, green beings,
Yes.
blue beings, red entities.
Yep.
A lot of them are different colors. Like if you, the Galactic Federation consists of a multitude of
Yes.
beings from different areas of the cosmos. They all look
I
different.
say.
You know what I'm saying? And not only
And
that,
yes.
a lot of us in the body that you're in are not in the same body. If you were to astral project and look in the mirror,
Yep.
or if you were to go into a lucid dream experience and look in the mirror, you may see yourself in a different vessel. You may see yourself in a completely different body.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know?
And you know what, also what you were talking about in terms of looking different. So back in 2019, winter solstice, when I was looking up into the stars and I saw all these different faces appear, right? So a couple of the faces that I saw, some people will probably be real fearful of the faces, but just because they look like that, and even when I have astral travel, like when I have astral traveled and I have interacted with other beings, some of the beings are very, like you mentioned, different colors, different shapes, different sizes. Some of them look really beautiful and inviting, and then some of them just have these faces that may not look as beautiful and inviting. They look a little bit, if you look at them at the first eye, you kind of like, oh, they're kind of scary, but they can be some of the most benevolent, beautiful beings. They just happen to have this look to them. They can look wicked, but at the end of the day, they're of love. You know what I mean?
That's a
So,
fact.
it's, we come in different shapes, sizes, colors, all that. It's just about, the purity of that heart and that soul, that heart chakra being aligned. So,
Also,
yep.
because we view from a third dimensional perspective, we may not be able to see their beauty from a higher dimensional lens,
Yes. Yep.
meaning that we don't understand it. But on a higher dimension, they consider beautiful. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Like people don't understand
Absolutely.
that some of these beings, like seriously, like and then a lot of that we just perceive it based on not knowing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, and also here's another thing: Hollywood sometimes, because they'll know that some of the gatekeepers to higher dimensional realms, they'll know how they look, so they'll demonize them in certain scary movies
Yeah.
because they'll know how these gatekeepers look like. Some of these
Absolutely.
are such,
Ashe.
and it's such with Luciferian groups. Some of them are in secret societies where they enter different transcendental states of consciousness where they may astral project. They may see a being. They
Mm-hmm.
know how the being look, and they know the being not nefarious. But since they've seen this being, and they'll try to make the being look scary. So if you ever get to that point in consciousness,
You be scared.
a lot of these beings judge you off of if you're scared or not. And if you go
Mm-hmm.
into the state of fear, you may not have the ability of reaping the benefits of certain cosmic tutelage.
Yeah.
You may be like, oh, he's not ready yet. But if you're
Exactly.
scared, but if you're not scared, they'd be like, once in a magic mushroom experience, matter of fact, right?
Mm-hmm.
A jester entity. It was a jester. He was looking at me. He was trying to scare me, and I wasn't scared. I was like, I'm not scared. And he said, nah, I'm just playing with you. And then after he realized I wasn't scared, they start showing me, teaching me all kind of stuff, the mysteries of the universe. I had a conversation with what appears to be like God. It was a female voice and a male voice. He kept switching from masculine to feminine to show me that it doesn't have a gender. That
Mm,
God really is just energy, basically. And it was
absolutely.
telling me that I was connected to everything in the universe. But
Mhm.
before it showed me all that, it tried to scare me first to see if I was worthy of the information.
Yeah.
So some of us, if you're scared of stuff fast, you may miss. It may be a test from a spirit guide. A
Ashe.
spirit guide may test you on the other side. Like if you enter, like let's say you take 5 grams of shrooms, I'll tell everybody they should have a magic mushroom or some kind of psychedelic experience at least once in their
Uh,
life to break the fourth wall to see really what's on the other side. Because
yep.
when you do it, it completely dissolves the ego, and you really get to see what the hell is really going on.
Absolutely.
You know.
Yes. The
So
first time I did it, I did the same similar thing. When I first I felt my body taking off. Like I felt my spirit kind of like, and I was scared. I was like, oh, at the time I was a little, and then I had to just relax. But right in the beginning, when I took off, I felt myself go, and I had some weird things happen where I was kind of scared at first, right? But then it was something was it spoke to me and just said, relax, it's okay,
Yeah.
we got you, it's you're good, this is, and then I relaxed. I was like, I'm gonna trust this
Was it a
process.
woman's voice?
I'm a,
Was
huh?
it a woman's voice?
Was that? It was a woman's voice.
Mine,
It was a
oh,
woman's.
mine is a black woman too. It's a black woman's
It was
voice.
it was a black woman's voice. Relax, we got you. You're good. After that, I was shown the most beautiful, the most beautiful thing. And back then, when that happened, this is before like the information came out about like water holding memory and all that. I was told that before that came out, and because I was telling my family, they were thinking I was crazy, but I was like, water actually holds memory. I actually heard, them speaking through like the water. They were telling me all this thing. They took me. I saw this place behind the sun. It was beautiful. Our people were just all golden and beautiful. It was just amazing, to the point where I was smiling but crying at the same time, but crying tears of joy because it was so beautiful. The experience was like something I was like, I want to go back. If this is what it's about, I'm ready. I want to go
Yeah,
back.
right.
So it was beautiful. It was magical. But figuring out the whole thing. So that's when I started speaking into my water before I drink it. Before I take my spiritual baths, I speak to the water. I connect with the water in the shower. I connect. I have my palms held out as the water falls into my hands, and I speak through that, because that's the most divine way to connect to source, is through that water, through that energy. You know what I mean? So, and as the water is coming down on me, I ask it for to purify my body, to purify my soul, to clean. It's just that connection is amazing. So the
That's
the, the,
very,
the shrooms are it's amazing. That trip was
that's,
amazing.
it sounds beautiful. That sounds fire.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Now, when speaking of water, we are primarily composed of water as well. So
Yes.
this is why we have to be very careful what we say and what we allow people to say to us, what we listen to, what we
Yeah.
watch, because the water, the molecular water structure in us doesn't know the difference. And
Absolutely.
it remembers and it absorbs. So if you're around a bunch of bad activity, or you're around like, let's say you in a relationship where you're always arguing and somebody's always saying bad things to you, your molecular water structure is absorbing that and it's holding on to that memory. And this
Right.
is why a lot of people have bad energy, or why they have low vibrations, because their molecular water structure is compromised.
Yep.
So the individual you were making mention of was Dr. Masaru Amato, when he conducted the
Hmm.
water experiment.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
into the water,
Yeah.
he would notice that when he said high vibrational things, that it created a beautiful six-pointed tetrahedron. But when he said bad things, it created a discombobulated, like a
Hmm.
nasty, dirty-looking image.
Yes.
So that, if that pertains, listen, everything, even the atmosphere is water. It's water. The air is water on a
Right.
small level. So
Hmm.
when we even speak, how this is why I even changed the things I rap about and everything, because what we
Hmm.
say is very powerful, and it's very, very, it affects things on a quantum level. Like, so
Absolutely.
this is
Yeah.
why us vibrating like this and speaking and having high vibrational conversations like this actually changes things on a molecular level and atomizes the atmosphere, where we raise the frequency.
Absolutely.
We start to raise the
I
frequency.
sure.
You feel
Yeah.
me? So
I,
that's very,
I do.
that's
Yeah.
that magic mushroom experience. See, you got me wanting to dive in now, and I got
It was amazing, and I did it a couple other times. So another time I did it, it wasn't to that extent, but I saw some people, right, and I was like, what realm is this? But they were long legs, like they had more of their legs, and then less, the face. It was kind of
they
weird,
had
you know what I
no
mean? What
torso.
was
They
yeah,
had no torso.
yeah, long torso and whatever, but they were really friendly, really nice. I've always been talked to give me like gems of information. The woman who spoke to me was telling me about like basically about who I was and how I was created and how source, looked, how I was created, and how my heart is just different in terms of my heart being unconditional loving and all of those things. It was just amazing. It was amazing, beautiful
That's,
experience. And I was like, okay, so but at the other times, like I said, it was great, but the first time was the best that I've had so
but
far. You know.
have you jumped in as high as the dose with the first one? Like, you got to go. Listen, are you familiar with Kalindi?
What was it
Kalindi.
called?
It's a shaman named Kilindi is his name. His name is Kalindi.
No,
No, his name
Kalindi.
Kalindi talked about He died around the time COVID, around that he transitioned. But this dude was a beast. He was a master teacher on entheogens and jumping into high doses of shrooms. I mean,
Mm.
doing doses like 20 grams.
Uh,
Kalindi, before he died, he was up to 60 grams. But
wow.
he talked about doing high doses, right?
Mm.
So some people like the guy Terrence McKenna. I want you to look up these people when you
I
get time.
will.
Kalindi,
Yeah.
Terrence McKenna. Terrence McKenna also talks about what's called a heroic dose of shrooms, where it's about a 5 gram dose.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the higher you go, the more you get a chance to really see through these dimensions. But it
Yeah.
takes a lot
You
of
got
bravery.
to
So,
work out. Yeah, I'm telling you because I was like, I haven't gone up. I generally, I have to
what
get to that point.
how
Just to
high as you went?
I've so I normally get the bars of the
Oh,
shrooms,
that's
right? I do the bars. I don't know how many grams or
four.
whatever, but I start off.
Did you eat the whole chocolate bar?
No,
Okay,
I haven't done that yet.
chocolate bar is 4 grams of psilocybin.
Yeah, so I,
4 grams.
I normally start off with like four. I've done like 4 to 6, off of it. I haven't gone beyond that.
I'm gonna send you some real shrooms,
Okay.
and I'm talking about the
Oh,
real deal. Like no,
okay.
but that's not. But it's not for the faint of heart. But you already journeyed down
I
that rabbit hole. And
have, yeah,
thing, you also have that spiritual guide that's gonna make sure you're good. That
yeah,
same woman came out the
yeah.
gate, and recently an iboga experiment. I experienced.
Mm.
I iboga and I heard some. First, I heard nefarious voices talking, like they was like draconian voices. They was plotting, saying real bad things, and then right when they was talking, the woman voice came and said, "See, these are all the things we protect you from." She said,
Oh my
"These
goodness.
are all keep you protected from, and they can't touch you because of us." And
That's what happened. So
I,
that in the beginning of the when I did it in the beginning, that's how it was. It was like they jumped in to try to scare me, right? So I was like, ooh, I was terrified at the time because I was like, oh my goodness, what did I get into? Whatever. But she came in, she calmed me down, she talked to me, and the whole time she talked to me, and I was like, I eased up, and it was the best
you know
experience.
how they normally say, listen, normally they say, this I'm excited now, because normally they say you need a trip sitter, like a trip sitter. Right?
Uh huh.
Like, why did you do that? You need a trip sitter. We have a trip sitter with us all the time.
Absolutely,
Like
absolutely, yeah.
trip sitter,
I say,
like, listen, you're
yeah.
relax. One time I was on the shrooms, right?
Mm,
And I no lie, I tell you this is no lie.
mm,
I was on the shrooms one time, and a tall white, like a tall white, it was a pale entity, tried to
mm.
intrude my psychic aura field. I promise you, it was pale, like
Mm.
white, like bright white, like this white,
Right,
like
right.
tried to intrude my auric field, right? And right when he tried to intrude my auric field, I had a crystal on at the time. And no lie, I promise you, a woman, the same woman voice, she told me to lift my arms. She said, lift your arms up. And she told me to lift my arms a certain way. And I'll never forget this, a green light shot out my crystal and formed a
Oh
structure.
my goodness.
And I moved my arms a certain way. And when I moved them, the thing couldn't take it and it bounced. It was like a green energy shot out my.
Wow.
She was like, lift your. She told me, I don't know nothing about doing
Right,
that.
and
It
she
was a
told
move.
you what to do.
She said, boom, and I was
That's
like this, and I moved. It was like Doctor Strange when he do the
yeah,
yellow thing, and it made
yeah.
anything pop out. So I am not scared to take no kind of psychedelic experience or
Me.
nothing because I know I have spiritual protection, and I know they want
Absolutely.
to see these things. This is why it is that they're like, listen, we want you to partake in these experiences,
Yeah.
and sometimes when it's something malnourished, it's because they know you're a star seed and you chosen, and they want to keep you in a root chakra so they can usurp a little loose off you. Because
Yep.
fear emit that amber light and they feed off of it like a mosquito to a
Yeah.
flame. So again, we in fear or low frequencies, that's the root chakra, which emits
Yes.
color.
Yeah.
But when we in a high vibrational, that green, they can't.
Mhm.
It's the 528 hertz, and it's such
Absolutely.
overwhelming energy form, that love frequency.
and
So
and the more and the more fearless that we are, you're right. It's more the better experience you have, and the more that they come to you. Because in the beginning, I used to be like, "Ooh, what is that?" Like jump for every little thing. Now I'm just so calm and cool. And I even had a situation where I had I was out of nowhere. I felt like I was having some shocking pains in my side, like something was messing with me, like jab. And then I come to find out it was a reptilian, right?
wow,
So but something told me to just imagine myself like as being this burst of energy just to explode it off and it just imagine it. I did that. The voice talked to me, told me what to do. I imagined that to happen, and I imagined it like I was just like combusting to break that thing off. And guess what, it left, it broke up. I imagined breaking that damn thing into pieces. And when I did that, it broke off of me, and I was like, I'm fearless. So whenever I would see anything come to me like that in my face, I'm like, I'm not scared of
Mm,
you. I'm
mm,
not scared of you. I'm
yeah.
fearless. So move around. And then they because they want the fear. That's how they feed off of the fear. When you're not fearless, they're not going to continue to come in your face or try to, so now I have that feeling of strong, like I'm fearless. You're not going to feed off my fear. There's nothing you're going to do to me. There's nothing that you can do to me. And that was it. But yeah, when I imagined that, she told me what to do and I did that, it worked,
The thing, let
so
me say this too, because the gods and goddesses watching this need to know this. One of the goddesses just typed exactly. Now she's scared to jump into the psychedelic experience a little bit, however. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
this is something that most people need to know. We have like tell her exactly. You got scared and immediately a spirit guide force of an ancestor or spirit guide immediately comforted you, didn't she?
Immediately to the voice came and was like, calm, we got you, don't worry about this, this is going to be a smooth journey. You're not going to, don't even worry about any of those. She made me feel so comfortable, and then I just when I relaxed and I just felt, I just let all of that fear flow off of me. The experience was the best, and then I was like, when am I going to do this again? I want to do it again. I want to go again because it was such a beautiful experience, and every time I did it after that was a beautiful
Yeah.
experience. It was, I never had any fearful, nefarious things, and any little things that would try to get in the way, immediately they're out of there, and then I'm good. You know what I mean?
They clear
But you're absolutely right. That guide is with me every time. The voice comes,
every and these
every
archons.
time.
We
Hmm.
listen. We are valued. We are valued in the cosmos, and most
Yeah,
people don't know that your spiritual rank is way higher in the cosmos.
absolutely,
That
absolutely. Yeah, I'm sure.
that is amazing,
I'm sure
and it's the
it
same
is.
woman voice to be talking. It's a woman
It's a
voice.
woman's voice. And it's such a comforting voice. I mean, and the things that they show you and that you see it was like I said, I was smiling and crying at the same time because it was so beautiful. I didn't want it to end. I was like, I want to be where I want to go
Did
there. I want
you
to
ask
stay
her?
here.
Did you ask her name?
I didn't ask her name. I
I asked
didn't.
her her name one time, and she told me her name was Mama Spirit.
My
Is what she told me her name was.
spirit. Oh,
That's
that's
what
beautiful.
she said.
Yeah.
She said you could call me Mama Spirit. She's like almost like you like thank you, baby.
Yeah.
She said you could call me Mama Spirit with that type of like with
That's
like
beautiful.
a relative of mine or something. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Somebody
It
that I
has to be an ancestor spirit
yeah,
guide,
like
guide.
she had
Yeah.
that big mama energy, like, girl, you could call me Mama Spirit. I'm like, I'm like, okay, okay. And then she was just telling me, but and when I spoke to Mama Spirit, though, what I gathered from her, she said, you're very powerful and you have to be very careful what you think about. She said,
Yeah.
your thoughts are very powerful. And when she said that, I was like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? Wow, but if somebody said flirty, no, not like flirty, more like a motherly, like a
Yes.
grandmother. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like a grandmother energy, like when a grandmother say, "Oh no, baby, you can go, you can have some more."
Right.
It was like that. It wasn't like she was being flirty. It was like more or less like a motherly instinct, or
Right.
like a
Absolutely. That motherly guide. And like I said, when I was there, they told me about my heart being different and said I was a goddess of unconditional love. And I was like, goddess of unconditional love. And I have been forgiven all my life. I have been unconditionally loving. Even to the people that have, like I said, done bad things, whatever, I forgive. I love them. I release that energy. When I went through Kundalini, my Kundalini experience back in 2019, I didn't even know what Kundalini really was at during that point in time. And I was like in deep meditation and I felt that serpent energy. I felt my body buzz and I didn't even know. I jumped out. I was like, what is this? I jumped out of bed because I went to sleep doing this deep breathing meditation and jumped out because I felt my body shaking, buzzing, right? And I went back into it and I felt that buzzing, sensation. And after that, it seemed like, when that third eye completely was open. It was already open, but it was completely open at that point. And that's when I started even seeing things even more deeper, all the apparitions and seeing the colors, differently, seeing all the things. And when I do the shrooms, it opens up in a way where it's like, well, I can hear my ears start to,
you can
do that
hear
little,
more too, right?
yes,
Listen, we don't
the sound becomes like in a different, you start to hear different frequencies,
I'm gonna
right?
give you some. Listen, you only had the chocolate bar. I gotta put you on game. I got.
Okay.
I gotta listen. And Iboga, Changa. Changa is another one. It's a phenomenal psychedelic, but because it only lasts for like 30 minutes, and it's
Mm,
associated with the DMT family, which is dimethyltryptamine, which is naturally produced by our brain.
mm,
And when you utilize the changa, you able to get all kind of. I've seen all kind of like symbols and ancient symbolisms and visions. I see black extraterrestrials on ships and stuff flying. I'm talking about floating pyramids and
Wow.
stuff like that. You see all of this. Close your eyes and see the
Yeah.
cosmos. See wars
Yeah.
in the cosmos. You can see all of this stuff. You know what I mean? You see. I
Yes.
seen all of us. Listen, I seen when I tell you, I seen all of us power
Mm-hmm.
forming geometrical structures and flying and telepathically in sync. I'm not playing. I really seen
Yeah.
this. I
I believe it. I believe it. I've seen some of the. I think I shared with you some of the codes, some of the light codes that I've seen, and I'm like, maybe those light codes are something that are is needed to be used. I need to see these symbols, and these symbols are going to do something. Or maybe I'm already utilizing these symbols, and they're just letting us know, like, this is what it is. But I remember a long time ago when I did an astral projection, I actually saw the pyramid type ships, and I
uh-huh.
was like, there's pyramid structures that are out there. They look like regular ships on the when you actually first look at them, but when I went up and I hovered during this astral projection, I saw the pyramid. So when you mentioned that, I was like, I saw those
Yeah,
years ago when I was doing an astral projection. I saw the ships, how they don't look like it when you look up, but if you go up top on them, you can see that they're actually
people
pyramids,
don't know
that
that
exist as well.
ships that we've thrown to this planet.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them in the ocean, like the Bermuda Triangle, has crystal pyramids on the bottom of it. It's
Wow.
pyramids on the moon. It's pyramids on Mars.
Mm-hmm.
It's pyramids all over. Everywhere we went, we put pyramids there because
Yep.
they're ships. People don't
Mm-hmm.
like that. This is why it's pyramids over and all over this planet. It's pyramids all over this planet,
Yeah.
and I seen it in my trip experiments. And what's going to happen is when the frequency of the planet elevates, the limestone in those pyramids is going to vibrate off, and you're going to see like a metallic gold or the
Mm-hmm.
crystalline structure. Some of them can actually are time travel too. You can time travel. You can do all kind of stuff with these pyramids and the energy generators also.
That's beautiful. And I know that, I just feel like, real soon, real soon, we're going to start seeing some things that are just, that's going to amaze everybody. I'm just really happy because we are in really, the times that we're in now, these are like times that were talked about back in, as you know, in ancient times that these things would happen. So we're getting closer and closer to the culmination of something really big where everybody is going to see the things that we've been seeing, when we visit during this astral, projection, during the astral travel, the things that we see when we go to, that we do when we go to sleep at night, right? When we close
Yeah.
our eyes, and we go to sleep. So,
Yo,
mhm.
so listen, hey, no, the crazy thing about it is right now, a lot of the chosen are reporting the same UFOs, the same ships, the same orbs, all of the
Mhm.
same things that you should like. You send me some of these videos and stuff. A lot
Yeah.
of chosen that don't have pages and stuff like that. They don't make videos. Are saying and sending me the same exact things,
Wow.
same things all over,
Wow.
all of these different things.
That's
Question
amazing.
to me,
Yeah.
question, what's this, and then another a sister hit me up earlier talking about something, a spiritual force that touched her. I had to tell her, I said, listen, you may need to get the red dragon resin. She was scared.
Yeah.
But she said
Yeah.
something physically touched her. That means it has enough ashe to reach from whatever dimensional realm it's at to actually
Right.
touch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is
Yeah. You
activity.
got to stay protected.
You need to put some salt around the room,
Mm-hmm.
hang upward at the entry of your door, actually wards off evil spirits. Horseshoe at the entry of the door could actually ward off malevolent fae, because some of the fae could be evil too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
like iron, that
Mhm.
the fae, they don't like iron. So I mean, it's a lot of things we're gonna start to have to utilize for spiritual protection. Crystals, like I
Yeah.
mentioned, shungite, obsidian, black tourmaline, orgone. All of these are different things you can use. Again, salt. One person made a video. I seen a video the other day. She said a bad person was coming in over this. She thought she was like, what's a witch? She put salt on her, what's the name?
Mm-hmm.
On her window, and the person came over and they couldn't even be there. They just had to leave. Strongest
Mm-hmm.
Celtic salt because it's the most high alkaline, which means it
You said
affects.
the Celtic salt. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
Yep.
these are some things that the guys and goddesses could get. Again, the red dragon resin, get that. I have
Yeah.
been getting you crystals like shungite, obsidian, salt. Utilization of salt, different
Mm-hmm.
pendants and things of that nature. Because when especially when they open these portals and stuff in the Vatican, you're gonna probably see a lot of different shadow apparitions, more different beings, and it's not to scare anyone. This is just facts, and to
Yeah.
make everybody's up on game for what they may see.
Yeah.
But if you're in a high vibration and you're divinely guided, you're protected anyway. So a high vibration is the most important thing, more than anything you can even buy. It's just a high frequency.
Absolutely. Yeah, and the ancestors, they're here. They're all around us anyway. So, call on them for the protection, your spirit guides going in. I mean, and these spiritual, like I mentioned, the spiritual baths and these spiritual showers that I do. Every time when I do those, I realize when I'm out, that's when I have even that much more activity, as if they just start coming out. The orbs start coming in and around right after I go into this deep meditation that I do when I'm in it. And they come out like they're like, and I'm like, they're here. They're around. They're here to protect. I feel very safe, and we all should, feel safe and protected. As long as we're, doing, you're putting in the work, we're doing what we're doing, making sure we're staying in that high frequency, high vibration, no matter what. Yeah, somebody put cats or spirit guides. Cats are amazing because my cat, she's been looking all over the place and running. I know she sees them every single day as well,
Yeah.
and even my dogs. I let my dog out last night when I saw that plasma, and that plasma actually it turned green, which was interesting. It was like had some green eminence around it. But when I let her out, she looked up. And then she she's a little scary cat though. She ran she ran back in, but they're seeing the animals are acting different too. They're seeing it
Yeah.
all.
Animals have a different magnetic connection to the
Yeah.
planet, so they react differently to a lot of this paranormal phenomena. They can see through different dimensions that we can.
Yeah.
The cats,
Mhm.
again, cats to add on to that, cats like the Lyran energy, they the protectors of the stargates and the
Yes.
portals. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We're
Hmm.
talking about on a cosmic level now. The Lyrans are the ones that typically, like when you even see the Stargate movie, typically you see the Lyrans there, the lion that come up in the
Yeah.
very front. It's
Hmm.
really in the very beginning of that movie. It's the personification of the being that can watch between two dimensions, basically. And that's what cats do. They can literally see in between dimensional timelines.
Yeah.
You know, cats
Hmm.
are a mixture of a reptile too. They get their eyes slant. It's the same as the reptilian too. They kind of got their reptilian brain is a little bit more pronounced. They can definitely see through dimensions.
Yeah.
But dogs, like you mentioned, dogs, they're in touch with Canis Major.
Yeah.
They're in touch with Sirius. They're in touch with a lot of, and Sirius is, and Nibiru is about to like, listen, if you really look at Sirius, the dog star,
Hmm.
literally would see different dogs forming in the light of the stars. It literally forms the different
Yeah.
dogs. It literally
Yeah.
does. It's crazy. It'd be different dogs. And I'm like, damn, that's why they call it the dog star.
Right. And
And
I'm
what's
telling you, when I saw that those the stars aligned, that was one of the faces that showed up in the sky was that face of a shape of a dog.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah, they're tapped into, and it's dog beings as well. On
yeah.
on a planet as well. A lot of people make mention of the Lyrans a lot, but they don't make mention of the dog beings. It's every this whole planet was a testing facility, and right now
Hmm.
it's just like I mentioned that we're the zoo of the cosmos. I always mention we're the ones behind the firmament. The other beings, the ones that came down, were called watchers, and they were just kind of watching us.
Hmm.
Same with animals at the zoo. We go there and we watch them. We at that point we're
Right.
watchers. You know what I mean? This is pretty much where we are. We behind a hydrogen dome of firmament, if you may,
Hmm.
and pretty much just being observed by the cosmos, and they're very
Hmm.
interested in our ascension process to see how far we're gonna come along.
Yep.
Because a lot of them, the Arcturians and Lyran seeded the planet, and now the Anunnaki and other beings are here because they're fighting over dominance of the planet. Believe it or not, some of the nefarious factions, and then our star family is here too, and they fighting for dominance over the planet. It's a lot that's going on.
Hmm.
I by February, we gonna see some crazy stuff be announced or something crazy. I can
Oh
feel it. I feel it.
yeah. I
But
feel it too. I feel it too. And I think that, and more people, the people that weren't believers before. And I mean, I have a lot of people that I know that just, used to look at me like, okay, she's a little, but they're now like waking up and coming and being like, you know what? I remember when you told me XYZ. I remember when you said, this stuff was going on underground. Even all this stuff with, the whole celebrity, the fake celebrities, right? Because I know they're not really celebrities to me, but you know, all the stuff that's happening with them. I talked about this years ago. I was like, it's going to come a
yeah,
time where all this stuff is going to fall. They're no longer going to be, looked at, and people are like, "What are you talking about?" Because people get so attached to the point where they
yeah.
worship these people, right? And get so attached to them to the point where they just cannot, they couldn't phantom it. Now look what's happening. Look what's happening with them.
Well, what I always say is that, the worship gene, the vesicular monoamine transporter. I always say that these entertainers or celebrities or
Hmm.
stars, right? Stars, quote
Hmm.
unquote, are
Right.
basically extraterrestrial biological entities with skin suits, and skin masks and all that. I
Yep.
personally believe that they're. What if they some of the Anunnaki or some of these different beings that and then you see some of them and they
Facts.
always celebrities always royals, some of the royals and stuff that always was like known and in the limelight, you know. And then this is why people worship genius activated when they see
Yep.
them. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
They fall out over them and all of that. You know what I mean? Past
Absolutely.
they they get you to buy whatever they want you to get, the clothes. The rapper could talk about taking lean and promethazine, and now the kids want to take lean and promethazine and stuff like that. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean, we
And
have
you know, and what I think is really interesting in talking to a lot of people who are considered, star seeds chosen, it's funny how most of us never really got to the point of being like, to that point of worship and these, celebrities and getting where it's like, oh, I have to have a front seat ticket. I gotta spend all this money. I've never been that person, and I'm not knocking anybody who is, because to each his own. But it's like, in our spirit, our soul just knew, like, don't, it just didn't feel right. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
the same thing, like with religion, it just didn't feel right to me. I knew that it was just, I always used to say, even before I got deep into being this, spiritual version of myself, because, we all go through life and go through whatever, and you just get confused in terms of who we're supposed to be, because, when you're, growing up, you just, this is normal. The way you are is not right, right? So I try to conform. I tried to, and I just could never conform. I always broke out of it, right? And just being around that, it just didn't feel right with me. Religion didn't. I used to always tell people, well, my body's a temple. I feel good. I have a connection with the creator already. So I don't really need to, go. They're like, blasphemy, that's not right. But it's, we are the spirit, the soul. We are fragments of source creation. We have that in us. We are gods and goddesses.
that's
And that's something that just people are now waking up to realizing that, which is beautiful. More and more of us are waking up
that's a
to that.
fact. That's a
Mhm.
fact. And I mean, and that's what the Great Awakening is about. It's about everyone realizing that everything they've been taught thus far was just for the sole purpose of mind control. From
Right.
the years 1 to 7, it's the most
Yep.
impressionable. That's when that
Yep.
ability of actually molding you and endowing the matrix into your subconscious your mind. And then you kind of grow up the whole time believing it. You go to
Hmm.
school for 8 hours a day, and then you from K through 12, and then that's
Right.
you got to work. You got to be there
Hmm.
for 8 hours a day, and then you make so you're always consistently distracted. You never have time to really go inward and silence the mind. And then
Right.
they make you go outside of yourself, basically. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
As I
Hmm.
mentioned, rely on jinn. Jinn is evil spirit. We know the jinn is the amber light beings, the Garabad, the
Yeah.
Melnuption action. When we talk about religion in regards to monotheistic religion, Akhenaten, Marduk, which was Amun Ra,
Hmm.
is the creator of monotheistic religion, basically. When at the time, he's one of the reasons why they used to say no other God and all of that. That Anunnaki
Hmm. Hmm.
to be revered.
Yeah.
Marduk felt like since he slayed Tiamat, that nobody should be revered over him.
Right.
So at the time, he said no other God should be this, and then he said this is idol worship. That's all commemorated on Marduk, and then he also switched his name to Amun Ra. So whenever you
Right.
say Amen, they commemorating him. They giving him energy just by saying Amen at the end of their prayers.
Yes.
You know, so
Yep.
all of
I
that,
told many people about that. Hmm.
all
Yeah.
of that stem from the Melnullim and Anunnaki. Even the God in the Bible is Enlil. En mean Lord, Lil means sky. So the Lord of the
Hmm.
sky is the personification of Enlil, basically, who is the Lord of the sky.
Facts.
And then, so all of that, even with the Garden of Eden story, when
Hmm.
they when Eve seen the reptilian that was speaking, basically some say it was Enki, basically trying to tell her what was right, because there was a sibling rivalry between Enki and Enlil. And Enki told
Hmm.
her, no, you are more than this. You are good. You are this. Because at the time, Enki and Isis loved the human, the Adamu, is what they referred
Hmm.
to us as.
Adama.
Yeah,
Yeah. Hmm.
Isis basically was really happy when they created the first Adamu. So the way
Hmm.
the story goes, it was more than one Adam. A lot of people don't know, because after Isis actually conceived the Adam, she went to seven other sisters from her laboratory, because she used to be. They was very brilliant, and this is the thing. The matriarch got rid of the patriarch got rid of the woman. These women were brilliant geneticists and scientists, almost like look at T'Challa's sister, pretty much how she's a brilliant
Hmm.
scientist, but it was mad women scientists like that, all of them brilliant scientists, like right. So they all wanted to partake in that Adamu project too, and they all decided to have kids too.
Hmm.
Most people don't know that. So it was more than one Adam. It was other Anunnaki women that also conceived children as well. So when we talk about star seeds, a lot of us actually are descendants from these beings.
Mm,
The thing about it is also Enlil also has some offspring, which is the malevolent one. And a lot of those are the ones that's associated with the hidden hand. Some
right.
of the beings that
And
come
the
from
governments, right?
and also some of the negative ones came from Saturn.
Yeah.
Why they worship Saturn, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm talking about melanated beings from Saturn, pitch black
Yeah.
like the top of this bottle, pitch black,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
This is when Norman Berg said they're black. I'm talking about tall black beings from Saturn. They and they built the rings on Saturn. They Saturn also could be short for satellite, right? And it sends different frequencies and things of that nature. These beings built the rings on Saturn, and a lot of these beings are associated with the hidden hand and nefarious factions in conjunction with Enlil. So when you talk about the 1%, we talking about black people right on top. But then they wanted to create a enemy for us, so they created the illusion of the
Right.
YT being the enemy, so they can create diversity to create us separated, so we don't have the concept of unity, right? But
Right.
beings are inducing the Saturn moon matrix as well as the Black Knight satellite. Now, most people are unaware with the Black Knight satellite that's been up there for 13,000 years. It's a device that sits near the moon
And that's from
that actually.
that's from the Anunnaki,
Yep.
right? Is that the one you're talking? Yeah.
Talk about that eye in the sky or Big Brother's watching. They
Yeah, I heard about that.
for years. And they kind of fear our ascension process low key because they know that once we remember who we really are, it's a wrap. They're not going to be able to usurp loose adrenochrome. Not it's a wrap for all of their resources from us.
Right.
Yeah. They've been keeping us a level 0 civilization this whole time.
Feeding off of our energy for far too long, and that's why when I, like I said, when I have any of those thoughts, where whatever it is, whether it's finances or this or that, it comes up in my head. I'm like, this is not this. These aren't my thoughts. These are not my thoughts. This is. I say that, and I know that it just it bothers them, right? Because when I'm catching it, I'm like, these are my thoughts. Nah, this is not me. Let me get back on this positive. Let me get back into spreading love. Let me get back into this high frequency energy. Put on some good music. Let me do something to get back into this group. Because I know this is all an illusion. This is all fake anyway. All of it is fake.
And
All
also,
made up, and they don't want us to realize that and know that. And that's what I'm spreading. I spread to everybody I know and people in general, and what we're doing, the work we're doing, trying to spread it to the masses so that we all can come together and unify. Because the time is coming real soon. The time is coming real soon when we're going to have to unify, and we're going to have to bring back that love frequency, because we're going to see things that, as we know that, it's going to be incredible. But I do feel more of a positive, feeling. I feel that, yeah, there's some negative energies at play trying to do some things, but I think that we've already won. As you mentioned, love has already won. Love wins. And the vibration frequency, I feel it. Like, I'm connecting more and more to people that are like us, and more people are coming in. It's an amazing time to be in right now.
yeah,
So
yeah. But see, and when you talk about those thoughts not my own, he was like those thoughts not my own. That also ties into parasitic organisms and why
that too.
detox the body and cleansing yourself of parasites is so important as well.
Yes.
Because I also always explain how parasites have the ability of implementing intrusive thoughts. All right.
Yeah.
Their objective is to induce the hive mind, and the hive
Mm-hmm.
mind is the personification of following the matrix or being an NPC, another NPC basically.
Right.
And a lot of the nefarious food or genetically modified organisms is another way to getting people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I stay away from that stuff. I don't do anything that's bioengineered, anything that has on GMOs. I don't mess with it. I stay away from all of that stuff, because you're absolutely right. And it's funny because, as we know, as the years have progressed, they put more and more. They snuck all that stuff into the food chain. I did a post, I want to say last year, about that, and I was like, your favorite food, your favorite snack foods. Look at this. Turn over the label. You read that stuff. It's
Yeah.
poison. We've been poisoned, especially here in the United States, more than any
More
country, right? So,
country. Most of all the ingredients is emulsifiers, preservatives and things of that nature to try to preserve the shelf life of the food.
yep.
You know what I'm saying? So I personally don't recommend anyone, getting into like you got to be very careful and read the ingredients of everything that you decide to put in
Everything.
the body right now. You know what
Everything.
I mean? Genetically modified organisms are designed to hinder your genetic sequence because right now see the DNA is going to be activated.
Mm-hmm.
All right, this is very important that people know this. Right now, with everything that was happening around the time they had people wearing masks and staying in the house, this is when they changed, went around, took all the seeds out the vegetables. They had us in the house so they can change everything.
Right.
They made the food more toxic. They
Absolutely.
did all of
Yeah.
that and right around that time. And then
I'll
now they're
say
doing it and they're